Hi, I'm Victoria Ballou. Your intuition brought you here today to choose a stack of cards to receive the message that you're supposed to hear today. So let's get to it. Would you choose Vesta, my warrior priestess, who represents intellect and courage? Or are you going to choose this fossilized shell, which represents growth and endurance? Or does today's message for you lie underneath this beautiful granite obelisk representing power and energy? Choose the stack that resonates with you, and let's take a look. We're going to begin with Vesta and scoot her over on my Chartre Labyrinth. And we'll take a look at the first card, which is your overview card. This is your energy from a very broad standpoint right now and represents where you are energetically. Let's see. So you have the Three of Wands here in the Thoth deck. This is called Virtue. This represents your character, your moral code that you move through life. That's what this card stands for. It can, in an obsessive way, represent too much of this so that you're taking on these aspects in too much of a way. So intuitively, I'm getting that right now. This means that you need to understand whether or not your character is in check or if it's become inflated in some aspect. Let's check your challenge card to see which one it resonates with. Okay, so you have the Ten of Discs, wealth, coming up. Wealth is saying that energetically you're being challenged, and this card represents not only monetary, financial, perhaps property wealth, something tangible, something physical, right? But it's your challenge card. So something about this is not resonating with this Three of Wands virtue that we see here. And so intuitively, I said earlier that this Three of Wands could represent something that is sounding, feeling, looking like you've pushed this energy, your moral attitudes too far. And somehow that is holding you back from allowing some real wealth to come into your life. Now, this could be something that is immediately obvious to you, that you instantly just say, yes, I know exactly what that is, and I'm going to work on it because I recognize that as a challenge. Or it could be something minor, something that has perhaps been with you as a belief for many, many years and is nagging, that little nagging thing that has clung to you for a long time. That's what our challenge energy can resonate as well. So there's something that is keeping you from embracing and having this wealth that is clearly here for you, that the opportunity exists for you, and that you need to be welcoming. But something about this Three of Wands is maybe holding you back. So I want you to think about that. So let's take a look at the third card, which is your course of action called for. This means this is the action you need to take right now to address the energy that we have already looked at in the overview and the challenge. So the card that comes up is the Five of Swords. It's called Defeat in the Thoth deck. And so what defeat is resonating with, first of all, 5 from a numerology standpoint represents instability. And swords is representative of intellect, of thinking, of those intellectual matters. So being your course of action called for, we need to look at all 3 of these cards together here because again, we have the Three of Wands virtue representing your moral character. And indeed, of course, Wands represents your spirituality side. It represents your intuitive side. And then we have the Ten of Discs, which represents your physical side, the material aspects in your life as well. And then we have the Swords, which, as I said, is thinking, is intellect. So we're working with all three major aspects of who you are here. And what this Five of Swords is saying is that you need to turn loose of this feeling of defeat. This is negative suffering that you're feeling. So we're getting a really clear picture here, because something is morally, consciously working against you fulfilling this place where you can take on more wealth. And again, wealth can pertain to money, to property, to some sort of even physical aspect. But there's a conflict here between what you're spiritually, intuitively feeling and what is present in your conscious life. And there's this suffering that's going on that needs to be eradicated, that needs to be recognized if you don't know what it is, and it needs to be dealt with. This is something that has been bothering you and will not go away until you address it. So think carefully if you don't know what it is right away. If you do know, then recognize that you're creating this negative suffering for yourself, this place of feeling defeated, of not even feeling like you don't even need to try because the defeat is here. That energy needs to go away, and you can shift it into something very positive. But you're dealing with some very deep energy here if you're dealing with your virtue, right? If you're dealing with the courage you feel within yourself, the moral compass that is you. So there's some major stuff here to examine and deal with. You have the opportunity to embrace this wealth, and you should embrace it, but find that balance between what resonates within you in terms of your character, your integrity, and what you're seeking, what this wealth opportunity is, because clearly there's something there that is not balanced, that's not feeling right to you. But by all means, turn loose of this defeat feeling, this negative attitude that you have, because there is an answer. Now, from a dream standpoint, I would bet that you're dreaming about walls or fences or something that you're coming up against, that you're wanting to go to the other side, but you're not able to do it. This would be a symbol I would think you are having in your dreams right now. And if you say, well, I don't dream, well, you're just not remembering your dreams. But tell yourself before you go to bed, I want to remember my dreams, and you will begin remembering them. So think in terms of turning loose of this defeat, overcoming this defeat, and then those walls, those fences that you're dreaming about will come down, and this energy will begin moving, and you'll be able to embrace all or maybe just part of this wealth and find that balance. Okay, so let's take a look at the second stack of cards underneath this fossil that's been around for millions of years, that began life as a shell. And let's take a look at the overview card, which is your energy from a very broad standpoint right now. Let's see what it is. Well, how nice. It's the Princess of Swords. This means you are going after clarity, and you are not going to stop until you get this clarity. Princess of Swords is rebel energy, and this can represent you very much right now, that you have determined you need to understand something clearly, and you're not going to stop until you do. So you are taking the steps right now to gain this awareness that you feel like you need to gain. And of course, Swords deals with our thinking mind. This deals with our intellect. So this is something you're really pondering, that you are certain that you are going to get to the bottom of, to get clarity on. So you may know what this is right immediately, or it may not be as clear. But let's take a look at the challenge card and see what that challenge energy is that's working against this attempt of yours at gaining clarity. Okay, so it's adjustment. You know, this in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, for example, they call this the justice card. It's all about balance. It's all about finding justice. And so that's where you are right now. This is challenging you because the clarity that you're seeking is going to require you to do a little bit of harmonizing, balancing, finding your equilibrium you're not having right now. So this is clearly your challenge, and this being a major arcana card adjustment, this is some big energy that has taken you off seeing and understanding where you are right now, even though you are really desperately wanting to understand. So that's what this overview card is. Not the overview, the course of action called for card is. I wonder why I said overview. There's a reason for that. Okay, so it's the Hierophant. Hierophant as your course of action called for. Of course, this represents wisdom. It also represents following the rules, being in a manner that's traditional, right? Following traditional rules and ways of operating. So I called it the overview card, so there has to be a reason intuitively why, subliminally, why I did that. So I'm looking at these two. Princess of Swords, again, gaining clarity, being a rebellious energy, right? That's what she is all about. She is going to gain clarity no matter what it takes. But then the counterpoint to that is this Hierophant, because he is very much following. He loves to follow rules. This is energy that loves to follow rules because they have worked in the past, right? And so here we see what the conflict is, and here is the adjustment. So this is why I called it subconsciously, why I called course of action called for the overview, because indeed what is called for here is adjustment to find the balance between the two. This is saying this rebel nature of yours that is going to at all costs do what you feel like doing, no matter what anyone else thinks, because if you're in the place where you feel like you have clarity about something, you're going to do it, right? Well, your course of action called for, the Hierophant is saying, wait a minute, hold on. You need to consider this balance, finding this balance between following something that has been laid out before you, that has worked before, that you need to consider here before you just run off in this tangent and do something that may not be in your best interest or may not be for the benefit of someone else. So that's what this adjustment card is talking about. This is exactly where what this spread is saying to us right now. So this is really important, because I know you're feeling this dynamic energy. Your mind is working and you're like, yes, I've got this. I understand what I need to be doing now. I have the clarity and I'm breaking some rules. I'm just saying, be cautious before you run out and do something really impulsive. Recognize what has worked in the past for you and find that wonderful balance between the two that is going to work best for you. Now, as far as your dreams go, I would bet that you are dreaming of water, and you're probably on a boat, either a little boat or a large ship, and the waves are very choppy, because water means conscious life experience. And for the waves to be choppy, it means it's being out of balance, right? So something in your life is feeling out of balance. And in order to get those waves to calm down, you need to find what is working, has worked for you in a traditional way in the past, as well as the intuition that has come to you, the insight that has come to you with this Princess of Swords energy. There is a wonderful median here that you can embrace that is going to be the most beneficial way for you to go forward. Okay, so let's take a look at stack 3 underneath this purple obelisk. That is just the energy from it feels dynamic and wonderful. And the first card we're choosing is your overview card. This is your energy from a very broad standpoint. So let's see where you are. So you have the Queen of Discs. This is energy, and it could either be your energy, it could represent you, it could represent something that you're doing right now. But the Queen of Discs has been through her trials and tribulations and come through with remarkable courage and strength to now be in a place where you feel like you have a lot of wisdom. You've gained some wisdom and you've gained some power, and you're able to look back on where you have come from a very steady and secure point, and look out over your past and understand what you have gained from it, the wisdom and the experience that you've gained from it. So if this is just your life in general, it could be, or it could be about something very specific. So let's take a look at your challenge card and see what needs to be addressed in that regard. Okay, well, it's the Knight of Wands. This is such dynamic energy. Are you moving? Are you relocating physically? A move of your home or your job? This card could very well indicate that. And it could be challenging for you. Obviously it is. But the Knight of Wands is very forceful energy that moves dynamically. And whatever this is challenging where you are with this Queen of Discs energy, because it's kind of shaking where you are from this wonderful, lofty standpoint of being so wise and feeling your strength and your power here. Well, here comes the Knight of Wands, and he's saying, yeah, well, you're not finished yet with all that you're having to encounter and learn. You can't just rest here. There's more to do. So this is all about movement energy. As I said, physically you could be moving, but nevertheless, this Wands energy, dealing with your spirit, dealing with your intuition, this is also showing forceful movement. And because it's your challenge card, this could be undirected movement. So make sure that whatever this energy is, it is directed, that you are conscious of what you're doing and not just feeling anxious about moving forward. Have that direction in mind. And that's why we have the third card, the course of action called for. Let's take a look to see what it is, because this will help you move through with this energy. Well, good. So it's the Wheel of Fortune card. So as your course of action called for, this is saying to recognize the timing is right for you in this moment to take some action, that the door is open, that wonderful energetic portal is open for you to change your life in a very dynamic way. But as we've said, this Knight of Wands energy is feeling like you aren't clear on what this direction is, or you're nervous about taking this direction or this move that's coming in front of you, that may be right in front of you. And this course of action called for, this Fortune card is saying embrace it. Make sure that you are tuned in and clear on what steps you are taking, but don't be afraid to take the steps, because right now the wheel has turned into your favor, because timing is everything with the Wheel of Fortune. And recognize that you are in the position where, yes, it's time to make the move, but you have to make it from a very thoughtful, directed standpoint. And if you don't feel like your energy is at this moment, then you need to regroup and you need to consciously think about where you are going, because it is time to move, and get very clear on that and move forward with that. So from a dreaming standpoint, I would think that you're probably flying, which is such a wonderful thing to do, unless you're bumping around and not being able to get air as you're coming off the ground, which just means that your freedom, the direction that you're going, is being hindered in some way. And that's what is symbolically being represented in the tarot here. So in order to soar, to take off and just soar, which I love to do in my dreams, it's my favorite thing to do in my dreams, you need to think about what this energy, this Knight of Wands energy is, that is making you, wanting you to move forward, compelling you, but really keeping you, it's not directed yet. You need to really focus and be very clear on what this energy is, and you need to direct it rather than letting it direct you. Thank you guys for joining me today and trusting your intuition, allowing your subconscious to bring you here to get the message that you needed today. If you want more information about tarot or dreams, astrology, or any other metaphysical subject, you should subscribe to my magazine, Astrologic. You can find it at astrologicmagazine.com. Look down in the comments and you'll find the link there. You can also book private readings with me anytime you want, and the link will be in the comments as well. And I always look forward to your comments. So the links are in the description, right? Not the comments. But do give me your comments, because I always enjoy reading them and helping you in any way I can, because that is what we are all here to do. I am here to bring ancient science into modern practice and to help you to the best of my abilities. Thanks for joining me.